Did you know that at one point we almost lost Radio City Music Hall? I didn't know this until my friend Magda Katz told me all about it. And today we have Rosie Novello Mearns, who saved Radio City Music Hall and has allowed us to keep this iconic structure. I know very little about this story, so we're going to let her talk a great deal. Rosie,
Yes.
can you tell me this story? Because I did not know we were ever about to lose it.
Oh, it happened in 1978. And at that time, I was in the ballet company. The music hall used to have a ballet company and the Rockettes. We were two separate groups of dancers. And I was in the ballet company and I was the dance captain. And my then boyfriend, now husband, was captain of the singers. And I had worked there, oh gosh, about 7 years already. No, I was there 12 years. What am I talking about? And the music hall used to show movies and stage shows. It was the most famous movie palace in the world. And in its heyday, the movies that it showed were like top of the line films. They were just, when you look at the list of films that open there, it's like, whoa. And then somewhere in the 70s, the films started to get a little strange. And then the films got really bad. And we were all going, what is going on? Why are they booking these horrible movies in here? And then during the Christmas show of 77, 78, they made an announcement, unbeknownst to all of us, at a news conference that they were going to close the music hall on April 12th after the Easter show and demolish it. And after the shock hit Bill and me, I felt like I was punched in the stomach. I got mad. I got really, really mad. I had worked there for 12 years and I liked working there, but I loved the theater. I absolutely adored every inch of that building. And I thought, no, you're not going to tear this down. And I said to Bill, we have to do something. I had no idea what to do. I had never done anything like this in my life. But the fear and the anger and the passion and everything seemed to get all rolled up into one big ball. And I called NBC across the street. I thought, I don't know what I'm going to say to them, but they're right across the street. I'll just call them. And that phone call led to another phone call. And I got booked to appear on a local TV show, the Bill Boggs Show. As long as I brought some Rockettes, of course, you have to bring Rockettes. So we did this stupid Bill Boggs Show. And when we came back to the theater, because we were still doing the Christmas show, I said to Bill, we have to do something. We have to do it now. This is the day after the announcement. So quite frankly, Bill and I just, we scheduled a meeting after the first show. You did 4 shows a day. And after the first show, we called a meeting of everybody up in the large rehearsal hall. And we flew up there as fast as we could. We were the first ones up there. And the thing that really hit me, we were standing there, we were leaning against the bar, the ballet bar, and reading an article in the New York Times about it. And the bar was against the mirror, and the door opened. And the door had a distinctive squeak to it. It was a creepy squeak. And I didn't turn around and look at the door. I looked in the mirror to see who was coming in. And the first 2 people to walk through that door wasn't a Rockette or a ballet dancer. It was a musician and a stagehand. Need I say more? And they were both men. And I turned to Bill and I said, this is serious. And within 15 minutes, there were about 250 people staring at me. And I didn't know what to say. I don't remember what I said to them. I don't remember this whole speech. Excuse me. The only thing I remember is turning to them. And the first thing I said, I look at all these desperate eyes staring at me. I said, we have nothing to lose. We are going to be out of here as of April 12th. So why not fight. And that's how it started. That is literally how it started. We formed a committee. So we had people from every department. We did it legally. The committee elected me the president. We had president and vice president, all that. We did all the formal papers. And we, boom, went at it. Hook, line, and sinker immediately. And I said this, Magda heard this. We were very fortunate because wonderful, wonderful people helped us. You don't do this by yourself. Nobody does this by themselves. And there were two men in particular. One, I got a letter. Oh, the Hilton Hotel. You're New Yorkers. The Hilton Hotel, it's almost across the street from the musical on 6th Avenue and 53rd. They didn't want it to close either. Nobody in the neighborhood wanted it to close. They knew how much business that it brought in, and they gave us a ground floor office for 3 months for free, no cost, nothing. And it was on the 53rd Street side, the uptown side. And it was extremely generous. And we were there every single day, because at that point, the theater was open for the Christmas show. It would close because they weren't doing so well. And then it would open for the Easter show. Then it would close, and it would run during the summer. So after the Christmas show closed, there was no place we could go. So we needed an office. And the Hilton said, go ahead, take it. It's empty. You can have it. And we were there every single solitary day. We did a poster. One of the musicians' wives was an illustrator, and she did this snappy poster for us. I'll send you a picture of it. And it collected money from everybody. We printed it, and we plastered New York City with it. And we got a letter from somebody by the name of Dr. Joseph Rosenberg. And, you know, we'd pick up the mail every day, and I opened this letter, and I went, oh my God, this man helped to save Grand Central. This is in this letter. I'm thinking, I have to call this. We have to talk to him. And the committee's going, yeah, Rosie, you got to call him. And I was very intimidated by his name. I thought, Dr. Joseph Rosenberg is going to get a call from Rosie Novellino, ballet dancer. Yeah, right. Sure, he's going to take me seriously. And I agonized over this for half of the day. And I finally thought, just do it. Just do it. He put his phone number there. So I called him. And he picked up on the very first ring, which threw me. And God, what a nice guy. Oh my God, he was so sweet. And he let me ask him questions for about a half an hour. And we had just started the landmarking stuff. We didn't know what we were doing. And I asked him if he would come in and meet the committee and advise us on that. Total stranger talking to this ballet dancer. And he goes, just tell me where and when, and I'll be there. Unbelievable. And a couple of days later, he was standing in front of Bill and me, and we brought him in to meet the committee. We took him down, we snuck him into the musicians' quarter downstairs. And Joe told us something that all of our mouths fell to the floor. It was like one of those, what? And if he hadn't told us this, I don't know if the building would still be there. He said, you know, guys, you signed up for it to be landmarked. What do you think you landmark a building? Okay, let's landmark a building.
Right.
He said there's a difference between landmarking the exterior and the interior. And we're going, huh? He said, if you want it to stay a theater, you've got to change it to the interior. Did you ever know there was a difference? I didn't know there was a difference. He said, you can landmark the building and they'll keep the shell and they can make it a tennis court. But if you want it to stay the same inside, you've got to change that to interior. I thought, oh my God. And of course we did immediately. And that infuriated the musical. They were livid. And he guided us through that, and told me I would have to give a speech. And I mean, he really took us by the hand and told us how to do that. And another gentleman that was just a lifesaver when we were at that news conference, when Bill and I were at that news conference. And there were tons of reporters in there. And this man comes over to us and he said, I want to introduce myself. My name is Art Athens from WCBS Radio. How do you do? Can I interview you? Sure. So he asked us a few questions. And then he turned everything off and he said, when I was a young guy, he said, I was an usher here. I love this theater. Here's my card. Let me know if there's anything I can do. I think it took us a couple of days, maybe a week, to go, I think we need to talk to Art. And we did. And he became a friend, a confidant, a coach. He said, I'll tell you when to do, because we had decided, and also Joe Rosenberg said, keep doing what you're doing. He said, you're doing all this publicity stuff. You need to embarrass the Rockefellers. Keep it up. So, we're trying to do all these publicity stunts and everything. And Art Athens said to us, if you're going to do this stuff, do it on Sunday or Monday. They're slow news days. Oh, send all your stuff over to AP before you do it. This was priceless what he told. We didn't know anything about that. And so we followed what he said every single time we did anything. And we did one stunt that was really, really good. We did a bunch of them, but one of them really, really turned out well. And so we sent all this stuff to AP like 2 days before and said, we're going to be doing this on Sunday after the first show, blah, blah, blah. And before I was even downstairs, the doorman at the stage door was calling me upstairs, goes, Rosie, there's all these press waiting for you out here. I thought, wow. So Art's, his suggestions and advice was just priceless. And when we went out, the sidewalk was covered with press and cameras and television and everything. So all of this helped us. You can't do this by yourself if you've never done it. How do you know? We're performers. You guys were in the theater, we're involved in whatever we're involved in, getting on stage, getting the lines, getting the choreography. I never knew anything about any of this, but if you're sincere about it, you will learn it as you go along. And
I do have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
What were the repercussions from doing this?
The big grand repercussion at the very end was that Bill and I were blackballed after it was saved. I didn't believe it because there was a naivete. I was so sincere about doing this to save the building. I wasn't trying to save my job, honest to God. I knew I'd put my neck in a noose. But that building was like, oh God, you can't touch a brick on this building. And I did a lot of local stuff. And then we were invited to go out to California. Do you remember the Tom Snyder show?
Yes.
Yeah. And so they called us and they flew us out, 2 of us out there to do the Tom Snyder show. And on the red eye, flew me back because I had a rehearsal the next day. He was wonderful. But you see, I'm out there. I'm on all these TV shows and these radio shows. I was on the radio with Art Athens almost every day on WCBS radio here in New York. I never thought any of the, let's call them the important people in this story, the Rockefellers, the management of the music hall, I mean, the real big management, not
right
or immediate. I thought they don't know they don't know who I am. So they knew who I was.
Well, they knew.
They knew, loud and clear they knew. And it took about 6 months to find out that we were blackballed. I just couldn't imagine, because my ego wasn't into it. It wasn't about my ego. It was one of the purest things I've ever done, except falling in love with Bill. It was that building. And it was not an ego trip at all. And they knew, and that was it. So that was the end of our career at the music hall. But somebody the other day said, would you do it again? And I said, for the musical, absolutely.
What happened to your career after they blackballed you?
Um, well, I went into a funk. I don't think I was clinically depressed. Maybe I was. I don't know. I went into a funk for a while. And I was hurt because um, out of 400 employees, this is going to sound like poor me, but this is really the way I
No,
felt.
not really.
After 400 employees worked at the music hall, and when it was sort of suspected that Rosie was not going to be there anymore, 5 people said thank you.
That's
And yeah, that kind of blew my mind. Um, and so
Did you fight back and let your story be known that you helped save this landmark
no,
building?
well, I called Art Athens and I said, what do I do? And he said, you got to be careful because it's going to sound like sour grapes. You have no proof of this. And I went to our union, which was AGVA, takes care of the musical. And somebody said, go to the union. I belong to a lot of unions, but I'm not a big union person. I belong because I have to. And so I went over, Bill and I went to see AGVA, and we knew everybody over there. And I remember going up to the desk, and I forget his name. It doesn't matter what his name was. And, hi, how you guys doing? And I said, I'm not real happy. And he said, why, what's going on? And I said, Bill, I think Bill and I are being blackballed. And he said, that's bullshit. I said, excuse me? And he repeated it. And I said, and you're my union? I'm paying dues for you to say this to us? And he said something else sarcastic, and we just turned on our heels and left. And I went, well, that went well. Okay, they're going to help. And then, finally, you finally just pull yourself up and you think, okay, just get on with your life. And I was lucky. I auditioned a lot, and I got a touring company of Michael Bennett's Ballroom, which was
Oh, I
a
love
dream
that
come
show.
true. I love that show. When I saw that show, I said, I have to do this show. I have to do this show. And I went on tour with that, and Bill went on tour. He was hired to sing on the Mississippi Queen as a soloist, and that was something he always wanted to do. And when that whole summer was over and we came back, um, uh, I was at the point, I was now 33. I was 32 when we were singing the musical. And I was beginning to think, maybe it's time to stop dancing. And I thought, hey, dancers aren't supposed to do that. You're not supposed to say, I don't want to dance. And I remember being at an audition for some Broadway show. I don't know. It was at the Minskoff Theater upstairs, the audition. And I used to smoke, as everybody did. And I was standing there having my cigarette. And I was looking around. I remember looking around the room and I thought, my God, everybody here looks like they're 18. I went, it's time.
You became Sheila.
I put my cigarette out, put it out with my beige character shoes. I didn't even do the audition. I just went back in the ladies' room and got changed, and I walked out. And I called Bill and I said, can we go for a walk? And we both, he lived on the west side, I lived on the east side, and we went for a walk. And we sat across from the Plaza Hotel on those stone benches. And I said, I don't think I want to dance anymore. And he was like, oh, what do you mean? I said, I don't think I want to do this. And I had, studied acting, but I wasn't passionate about it. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I couldn't sing. Bill was a singer. My singing was not very good. I don't know. He said, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. And then he started getting disgusted with auditioning. And he did a couple other gigs, and he was getting fed up with it. And something weird happened, and we started writing. I wrote some lyrics, joke lyrics about him, and he put it to music. And we started writing music. And we have now written 3 musicals. Only one has really had any production. It's a musical version of A Christmas Carol, Ebenezer. That's one of the posters. And
I saw that.
Yeah, that's been done around the country. it was supposed to be done at Surflight in New Jersey last year, but COVID happened. So we just heard from them yesterday and said they're gonna do it this Christmas. And it's been done in Reno, and it's been done around the country. It was done in Shelbyville, Kentucky a couple years ago. So that's what we've did. And, you know, did survival jobs like everybody in the theater. And Bill and I have been working together since we met. We met on the great stage, and every single thing we've done, even our survival jobs, we've done together. We're very, very lucky that we are really best friends, and we can do everything. We're together 24 hours a day. People think we're crazy, but we like it. And now, you know, once I wrote the book, that just took off. And then we put the presentation together. We've been all over the country doing the presentation. We don't have to do survival jobs anymore, but
I think you're going to start getting a slew of thank you letters.
oh, wow.
No, you did something out of the ordinary. You stepped outside of yourself for the greater good.
Well,
And
that's sweet. Thank you.
I'm so thrilled to be interviewing you because unfortunately, whenever we step out against a bigger power, i.e. the Rockefellers, there are repercussions and people don't ever see them beforehand. That's what made me ask you the question, because I knew that there had to have been some.
Yeah.
And the fact that you survived it with grace is an amazing thing.
That's very nice of you to say. That's very generous. I
No,
hope I did. I hope I did. I hope I did.
You saved an iconic landmark for millions to see and millions to still cherish. If you had not done this, I don't think I would have seen a show at the Radio City.
Really? When did you first, are you originally from New York?
No, I'm from California.
Oh, okay.
And I take it back. My first show at Radio City, I'd come with my mother to New York, and we actually got a chance to go see a movie there. Harry and Walter Go to New York with Elliot.
Harry and Tonto Go to New York. I was there for that. Yeah.
And I sat next to Elliot Gould.
Yes.
And we ended up.
Gould, yes, I remember when Elliot Gould was there, because he came back and sat right in the front row with, she used to be Woody Allen's girlfriend.
Mia Farrow?
Who?
Mia Farrow?
No. Diane Keaton.
Oh.
And they sat in the front row and right by the passerelle. And the show started, I don't know if they were stoned or what, but they laughed their heads off through the whole thing. And we ended our number on the passerelle, and I ended right in front of them. And I just thought, I feel like just like doing a grand bump mom right in your face right now. You know what that is, obviously.
I do.
And I thought, they just turned me off. But anyway, so yeah, Harry and Tonto went to New York. It was Art Carney, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that I started talking to him, and he started talking to me. And the next day we were leaving, and we were at the airport, and he was at the airport.
Get out.
He was seeing his son off, which meant I knew who was on the other side of that runway. I made sure that I was the first one off the plane, and sure enough, Streisand was there.
Right there, right. Wow.
Yippee!
Well, that's a great memory of the music hall. My goodness gracious.
I think it was 1976.
Yeah, that's probably right. Yeah.
Up until then, the next time wasn't until, when did I sing there? I think 1980.
You just saw the regular Christmas show, maybe, or
No,
a concert?
I sang as Mrs. Claus.
Oh, get out! You were Mrs. Claus.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that.
So the fact that you saved it meant that I had a job.
Oh, right. That's fabulous.
So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Oh, you're very welcome. You're very, very welcome.
But I think that there's other people, when they hear your story and I never knew that we were about to lose it. Never had a clue. And the fact that they would do this, that's
Yeah,
e-
the lovely women who are Rockettes now certainly are totally different ones from when Bill and I were there. I have gotten, I have met some of them. I have gotten notes from some of them who have thanked me, just what you're saying. And every single one of them said, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have the job, just like what you said. I'm very touched by that, that the new generation that's going in there now, they've, I guess, heard about the book, or they got the book, or, they saw me appear someplace or something. And that just means the world to me. And just what you said means the world to me.
well,
I think
seriously,
that's great that you got to perform there. You were on the great stage.
I was.
Pretty cool stage, isn't it?
Yeah, very, very cool stage.
Yeah.
But, you know, we never know the history of things that are coming down because we're not always told the truth. And
That's the
I
truth.
think that I'm so grateful to Magda for putting us together and for doing this because, again, I think people should know about this. And when she told me, I was like, what? Huh? Like, how do I not know this history? How is this history not out there? Is there anything that you would like us to know about you that I haven't asked or that you haven't told us yet?
Oh, gee, that's quite a question. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know what there is about me that's interesting enough to tell you. I'm just a person who's passionate about certain things. One of them is Radio City Musical. The other one is my darling husband, and um, it's been wonderful that Bill and I have been able to spread this news because of the book. When the book came out, I said, why don't we put a presentation together? And he said, what exactly do you have in mind? And I said, well, I said, and he said, why don't you do the script and then I'll do the video part that Magna got to see. I said, okay. And it took a few months to do it. And we've, been working on it now for years to make it better, 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 better. And again, I said to him, again, we're doing this together. I mean, the story, yes, I was the president of the committee, but Bill and I did all of this together. And now we're still doing it together. That story that we created is now growing. And I will tell you I'll tell you something that's kind of fun that happened. We did this out, we were invited out to do this in Hollywood, to do it at the Egyptian Theater. And just before we left, I got an email from the gentleman who had invited us. And he said, Rosie, there are 2 young women out here who are doing a documentary about movie palaces, and they would like to talk to you. Can I give them your email? I said, yeah, sure. I'll talk to anybody. And the next day, before we left, we were still here, I got an email from her. And she said, thank you so much. She said, I'm really looking forward to meeting you. She said, by way of introduction, I want you to know I've done another documentary about drive-in movies. So I'm reading this to Bill on my phone. God forbid I should go to the east wing of our estate to our computer. I'm sitting on the couch with the phone, right? And he says, what? I said, she did a documentary about drive-ins. He goes, what's her name? And I'm rolling down. I go, April Wright. He goes into the bedroom. It comes out. He goes, we have that movie. And I went, oh my God, I've forgotten that he had purchased it like 3 years earlier. I said, that was really good. That was a good documentary. I went, oh, I want to meet her. And so I went to the computer and I answered her immediately. And I said, April, I'm really looking forward to talking to you. I said, we're fans. We have your drive-in movie film. And her reaction was so gracious. It wasn't like, well, of course you do because I'm fabulous. She was so thrilled that we had it and loved my review of it. And so we went out there, and that they were going to do was really kind of sweet. The Egyptian Theater was going to do a whole musical event. This is the choreography. I was supposed to do the presentation. then go in the lobby and sell books, and then they were going to run a film that played the music hall. So the theater also had a screening room underneath. And so when April was going to interview me while the movie was playing, it was going to be Cover Girl, and I really had no desire to go back in and see Cover Girl. So she showed up in front of the desk where we were selling the books. So they pulled everybody back into the theater. Hi, I'm April. Okay. And we wrapped around and went into the screening room, and she had the camera, everything was set up, and she interviewed me for about an hour. But I had also said to her in the email, you know, April, you don't know anything about me. You should really, it would behoove you to see the presentation, because then you'll know the story. And it's a good thing she did, because she took excellent notes. And most of the questioning was about that. Well, that, we're going to jump forward to last year. That film is now completed, and it's fabulous. I was flabbergasted at how good it is. It started opening all over the place. And when it was here on the East Coast, it was done in Connecticut, it was done in Brooklyn, it was done a couple places. And we actually went with April because she wanted us to be part of the Q&A. And it was so well received, and we were really on a roll. And then of course, COVID happened. So what was it about? Just before December, I think it was the first week of December. I may have the dates wrong. It was actually on Turner Classic Movies.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought, wow, that's fabulous. That was very exciting. And Leonard Maltin is in it. She got Leonard Maltin, the gentleman who was the then president of the Los Angeles Theater Historic Foundation. He's in it. Myself, two different theaters in Chicago. April grew up in Chicago. She lives in LA now. But there are two gorgeous, gorgeous theaters that are being renovated in Chicago. Yeah, thank you. Give me, Bill. This is the film. It's called The Going Attractions.
Hello, Bill.
Bill, you want to wave hello? He doesn't look great or
No,
anything.
I'm not dressed for the
Well,
occasion.
well, just say hello. These ladies are so sweet. The definitive story of the movie Palace. That's
Hello, Bill. Thank you for.
Hello.
this. Can you see that? That is it. The light?
Yeah.
That's it.
Wow.
It is really fabulous. And
Wait, do you have a copy of your book?
yes.
Why, I think we should hold that up and really. So if you can't see it, Saving Radio City Music Hall, A Dancer's True Story.
Right.
We are running out of time, but
Okay.
I want to thank you so much for what you did for New York, what you did for humanity, and what you did for history.
Oh, thank you. You're very sweet. Thank you.